So in this video, I wanted to go over the things that people are asking, mostly about how Steam Frame is different to Quest 3, and is Steam Frame actually a standalone headset due to some mixed messaging during the announcement trailer. Firstly, they do both have pancake lenses, and Quest 3 has full color pass-through, as Steam Frame has monochrome, which means going back to black and white pass-through like Quest 2, which for me is the only real downside in this comparison video, because in all other ways, Steam Frame is the superior headset. We still don't know the price yet, but apparently it won't be priced more than the previous Valve headset called the Valve Index. But this is still hard to work out, as the Valve Index was either sold on its own or with controllers, and then again with base stations. So it's really hard to lock down exactly how much this thing will actually cost. On to weight and comfort, and this is a big deal for VR. The more comfortable you are using a VR headset, the more immersed you feel, and I can vouch for this after having used the Pimax Crystal, which did have absolutely insane clarity, but wearing it was noticeable pretty much all of the time. So Steam Frame is apparently about 80 to 100 grams lighter than Quest 3, and when it comes to comfort, the battery is stored on the back of the head strap. This creates a better balance, so I fully expect Steam Frame to be a vastly more comfortable headset out of the box, and hopefully this will eliminate the need to buy extra head straps. Now some people are confused if this is actually a standalone VR headset at all, because most of the presentation was focused about PSVR streaming, which in itself raised another question which I'll get to in a minute. So yes, Steam Frame is a standalone VR headset, and I expect a lot of Quest games that we know and love already will be ported over to Steam Frame. But with Steam Frame having eye tracking and a better processor, these games and all the newer titles still to come could actually be very different. Steam Frame will have a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, which is stated as a 25 to 30% more powerful GPU than Quest 3, and the graphical performance could again increase if developers choose to use eye tracking for dynamic foveated rendering. Steam Frame also has a 50% better single core CPU and 100% better multi-threaded performance. It also has 16 gig of unified RAM, which is double that of Quest 3's 8 gig RAM. When it comes to storage, Steam Frame has 256 gig of built-in storage, but you can increase this with a micro USB of up to 2 terabytes. Steam Frame also has a slightly higher resolution, a larger FOV of 110 degrees both vertically and horizontally, and it has a higher refresh rate. It's capable of 72 to 120 Hz with 144 Hz as a experimental mode. Now, a question I got with my previous reaction video was regarding the dongle that enables PSVR foveated streaming. From what I understand, foveated streaming means with Steam Frame's eye tracking, it's going to deliver a pin-sharp image focusing all the encoding at exactly where you're looking. What that doesn't mean though is better performance for your PSVR games. And I think some people have assumed that because it has eye tracking, that would be the case. And to be fair, that's exactly what eye tracking was meant to be all about. Why would you bother rendering an entire PSVR image in a headset that the users aren't focused on? But developers could use the eye tracking for standalone software to improve performance of those games. And going back to talking about mixed reality, I do think mixed reality kind of had its big moment last year, and I think Valve's mixed reality image during the presentation of someone playing a flat game with Steam Frame was a little bit deceiving, and probably the biggest disappointment of the whole presentation, especially for those of us who have already got used to full color pass-through. So yeah, on Steam Frame you can play games on a giant screen, but your environment will be black and white like you're in a 50s movie. When it comes to battery life, Valve are apparently still optimizing the battery some potential numbers, but I would expect this to be no less than 2 to 3 hours, but it still could prove to be a bit of an issue. It's great having a wireless solution for PSVR, but for people like me who play VR for 8 hours a day, I would be back to having to play wired unless Valve sell, or we can use third-party batteries to place in our pocket while using Steam Frame. The controllers have already been stated as having at least 40 hours battery time, which is cool, but there's clearly still some big questions that need answering, especially the price. But there you have it. Steam Frame for the most part is a better headset in every way compared to Quest 3, but does lose the fight when it comes to pass-through. So I would be interested to hear your thoughts on how this affects your judgment of Steam Frame, knowing everything we've gone over so far. So that's all I've got for you today. I hope this clears up some issues or questions you have. If it doesn't, let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts on everything regarding this headset, and I'll see you all in the next one.